Do you ever feel buried under a pile of books that have been recommended to you and you want to know which ones are actually must-reads? Well, in this video, I'm going to be super real with you as I share insights into my number one all-time favorite personal and professional development book. This book has transformed my life, helping me go from earning $7 an hour stringing tennis rackets at Sports Chalet to 7 figures within 5 years while I was in college. Then I was able to start and scale my own personal direct sales company to over 2,000 team members nationwide. The principles in this book helped me to take my company public, become a multimillionaire. And also, during several years later, I lost everything as my company came crashing to the ground in 2012. Then applying the same principles that got me to my initial success, I've been able to get out of my giant hole and build myself up back stronger than ever. And since I've coached and mentored tens of thousands of leaders all over America, and I'm going to peel back the onion and share the most valuable secrets that I've gained and how to apply them to achieve success and how you can too. All right, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name's Ben Ward, and I've successfully led sales teams for over 2 decades, and I like to talk about high performance in sales leadership and how to draw out the best in the people that you lead. If you're responsible for inspiring, motivating, coaching, teaching, training your team to achieve results, and you want to continue growing as a leader, then this channel is for you. Hit the like button, helps more leaders see these videos. And if you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. I want to hear from you either way. And by staying to the end, I'm going to share my top 10 all-time favorite personal and professional development books with you. Well, it all started for me when I was a kid going to visit my dad Garth and stepmom Virginia every other weekend. And they had a huge library of books on tape. And I noticed this one day and I asked, what are these all about? And my dad stacked me up with a couple books and said, hey, go check these out. And I read them. The first one I remember was Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret, and all about how your attitude changes and affects everything. And I loved it. And I remember bringing it back to my dad and be like, Dad, this is awesome. And so he loaded me back up with some more. And this pattern cycled for years. And it got to the point where he would stack me up with a bunch of them, and I'd come back and I'd listen to them everywhere that I was. When I had the yellow Sony Walkman that I would play. I had my headphones on, and I would play when I was doing laundry, when I was doing the dishes, when I was helping make dinner. We had tons of chores in our house, and anytime that I had dead time, I was listening to one of these books. When I was traveling, when my family was driving, when I was young, I didn't have a car. I wasn't old enough to have a car when I started. So when my parents were driving me around, I'd have these books on tape all the time. So that pattern set me off on a pathway of learning and loving personal and professional development books. And I'll never forget when I came home from a 2-year service mission for my church. I was giving a report at church, and I was speaking to the congregation, telling them about my service mission. And at the end, Esther Moorcroft came running up to the stand, and I'll just never forget. She had this exact book, this copy, and she's like, Ben, awesome, amazing, the service you gave. And she's like, this book will give you guidance. Literally is what she said. I'll never forget. And she actually even wrote this right here. She's like, this book will give you guidance as does the scriptures. And I was just like, honestly, I was like, I'm not interested in think and grow. Look how corny this looks and in your face. And so I legit was like, I'm gonna burn that book. I don't care about the riches. And I just was not interested. It wasn't until a couple years later, I was listening to one of my favorite authors, Earl Nightingale, talks about a book that changed his life. And I'm like, what is that book? Earl's one of my heroes. I wanna read it. And he said, Think and Grow Rich is a book that I would go to the library and I would get it and I would read it. I read it over and over and it changed my life. And I was like, yes, like I've got to read that book. Like, where do I get it? How do I get it? And like, I'm in. Like, if this is that important to Earl Nightingale, I'm in. And I remember that night, I was like, okay, how do I get this book? I got to track it down. And then I remembered, I was like, wait a minute. Holy smokes. Isn't the book that Esther Moorcroft gave me, that crazy lady waving this book that I wasn't interested in, saying it's going to give you just tons of guidance in your life? Was that it? And so I went to my bookshelf, and way in the back, hidden, was this book. And I'm just like, wow. Like, this is the one that Esther talked about. And I totally rejected it. And the title just threw me off. I just wasn't interested in it. And it's interesting that Napoleon himself talks about the title and how it's sort of polarizing. He actually didn't really like it. He loved it for sales, but he hated it for what it actually was. Because Think and Grow Rich, a lot of people, it feels like it's a sleazy, how do you get rich quick, like, it's all about like just money. But what it is and what I've found, it is so much more. It's actually about life's real riches. Real riches such as positive mental attitude. And every chapter and every page in this book, it's about the real riches of life. Positive mental attitude, sound physical health, harmony in relationships, freedom from fear, hope for future achievement, capacity for applied faith, to be engaged in a labor of love, an open mind on all subjects towards all people, a willingness to share our blessings with others, complete self-discipline, wisdom with which to understand people, gratitude, and financial freedom. If we're living these real principles, the financial freedom, it's last. Notice it's last. It's because if we are living and attracting life's real riches in our life, financial freedom will find us, will find you. It'll chase you down and slap you on the back. And I've found this to be true in my life as well. And the title, Think, it's about using your brain, about using our minds. One of the chapters is thoughts are things. The thoughts we have actually transmute into its physical equivalent. We may think, so like, this is crazy, right? I just had this really crazy thought. Stand on your chair right now. I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, boom, all right. I'm standing on my chair. Here we go. What just happened? I just had a thought while I was in the middle of talking with you. Stand on your chair. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden, boom, what happened was that thought just transmuted itself into me standing in the chair with my white, skinny legs, which is embarrassing to me, sharing with you this principle that our thoughts actually can materialize into things. That thought of standing here to actually seeing it and having it be real, that's how success happens. That's how failure happens as well. It's the action backed of what our thinking is. If our thoughts are effective and we take action, we achieve effective results. And so like, right? This book is a game changer. And I'm not just advocating for this book for any other reason than it personally changed my life. And I'm going to share with you a few secrets that I promise you will add incredible value to you, that stem from the thoughts back of Think and Grow Rich, this book. Well, starting with my first year leading a sales team, a door-to-door sales team, I put in the office big copied letters of life's real riches from Napoleon Hill. And the ones I shared with you, positive mental attitude, sound physical health. And actually, here's a picture of the room, of the office where we would do our team correlations. And it was surrounding us with these principles of life's real riches. And one of the most valuable formulas that I've ever experienced that's transformed my life, my leadership, who I am, came directly from this book. And he calls it the self-confidence formula. And I'm gonna just share it with you because he challenged you to commit this to memory and recite it in your mind every single day until you become what it is that you desire to become. And so I'm gonna share this with you. And I'll put a link to so here's what I call it, the big 5, because it's 5 paragraphs. It's the big 5 is what the people that I've led over the years know the self-confidence formula from Napoleon Hill to be. And here it is, it's profound. I'm gonna just share it with you. And it's something that I memorized over 15 years ago. It took me a few times reading through this book to actually take action and do this, but this transformed my life. Ready? First, I know I have the ability to achieve the object of the definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. Second, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves into outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear and mental picture of that person. Third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it. Fourth, I've clearly written down a description of the definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying till I shall develop sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Fifth, and this one's my favorite. They're all my favorite, but for different reasons. But fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction that does not benefit all with whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing a love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. This formula, I just shared that with you straight from my memory, not to be impressive, but because of the power that this has had on me. The power this can have on anybody willing to pay the price to plant very intentional thoughts into our brains. And so what's very interesting is I was so proud this was when I started memorizing this. There was about a year where I played it in my head every day, and honestly, I was so proud. I'm going to be very transparent with you. It's a little bit embarrassing. But I like, in my heart, I was like super pride about like, oh yeah, I've got this thing memorized and like I'm on my way to success. And I was starting to see some success. And I realized that, so like number 4, I have clearly written a description of the definite chief aim in life. And like I've been giving lip service to this for a year, every day playing in my head. And I had not, in fact, written out clearly defined goals. And it hit me one day so hard when I was playing this in my head, being like, yeah, I'm the man. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I've given lip service to this formula. I like claim that it's like a key part of my success, and yet I haven't actually applied what it says. I have not clearly written down any specific goals of my definite chief aim. I'm like, well, what is my definite chief aim? I don't know. And after a year of playing that in my head, I realized it was time for me to get very intentional and very specific. And that led me on a journey that I'm going to share with you something so personal to me because I respect you. You're here investing in yourself, watching this right now. I respect you. We must be kindred souls. We must have spirits that desire to rise up and become great. Within me, I believe I can become better than I am. And I know that that's you as well. So I want to share with you something that I feel is the most valuable gift that I could offer to you, that I could offer to the world, which is what I have been able to do with this formula that I've played in my head for now more than 15 years. And I call it my vision map. And I'm going to share with you very transparently my personal vision map, what I see for myself. And so I'm going to share a clip that I recorded earlier today. I didn't know how to do it effectively, so I did it through Zoom. The quality of the voice may not be amazing, and the quality, but I want it. I share this with you not to try to be impressive, but to as Les Brown and Tony Robbins, different people say, but to impress upon you principles that if you take action on can help lead you to the success that you desire. So it's an Excel spreadsheet that has the first tab. There's many tabs up at the top here, you'll notice. And the first tab is my purpose tab, which has my why, like what gets me out of bed in the morning, like when I don't want to get up, like it compels me up. It's really why the meaning in my life that drives me to take action. And it's all about, for me, it's continuously learning and growing. And it's not the race to the top financially, it's the spirit race. It's the spirit inside of me trying to become my best. And so this as my why, and then there's 10 buckets that the framework for this whole spreadsheet and the tabs above come from these 10 buckets. And this is what a fulfilled life means to me, not to anybody else. Some of this may not resonate with you, and it's not designed to. It's designed to resonate with me. And I share this with you specifically for you to start thinking about, what does a fulfilled life mean for you? And I know you've been thinking about that. And my question to you is, do you have what a fulfilled life means to you written out? Are you looking at it regularly? For me, with this tool, I look at it every single day. Something I look at in the mornings. If I'm like down, sometimes I'll glance at it in the middle of the day. But it's become a habit, and this helps me to focus, to take the thoughts in my brain, just as Napoleon Hill talks about, thoughts are things. And in the beginning of this book, there's a chapter on thoughts are things. And these are my thoughts that I've put down in writing, and I've found them to be magic in creating a fulfilling and intentional life. All right. So these 10 buckets, each of them, for example, I know who I am. Number 2, this bucket. I have a tab. I know who I am. And this is, it breaks down a little bit of what that means to me. Because it's one thing to say, I know who I am, but then what does that mean? And so in this case, it's like my core values. What are my core values? My why, right? My passions, interests. And I'm not sharing this with you for any other reason than for you to be thinking about this for yourself. Who are you? What is your why? What are your passions? What are you interested in? What do you aspire to become? Permission to play. Like if I can't put my whole heart into it, I got to take myself out of it. This is really transparent with you. What my biggest weaknesses, my biggest strengths. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? Who are you? And are you in tune and in touch with yourself? What are your talents? What do you want others to remember about you when you die? For me, this is connected in with, so for example, like I know who I am. It's broken out in another tab of detailing it out. So I'll go walk you through a very high level. And again, my intent is to just unlock and unleash some thoughts for you. I'm not sharing this with you to try to impress you. In fact, it's actually very vulnerable, and it's really challenging to share this with you because it's a lot of personal stuff. But I respect you, and some of you may not resonate. You might, hopefully not, but some of you might be offended by some of the things that are meaningful to me. And that's I hope and I challenge you to don't be offended. I share this only for you to be able to see how you can take the thoughts that have been in your brain and put them somewhere, starting out right now today, and taking what you already have, and maybe there's some additional ideas for you where you can create an intentional vision that you can map out for your life. So that's my intention in sharing this with you. And so each of these 10 buckets, I'm just going to walk you through each tab very quickly. 5-year goals. For me, these are my 5-year goals. The vision board, I can visualize it. These are my 2020 objectives, and I have them in four different categories: intellectual, physical, spiritual, and social, financial, and business. Those are the different tabs. The 2020 objectives, this is what I'm working on right now. My mastermind group. I'm involved in, actually right now I'm in 4 live mastermind groups, 2 of them virtual and 2 of them in person. But this is my personal mastermind where I come to this group. This is a group of respected people that I love and cherish, that I, for example, ask them questions like, how can I bring my ideal life into reality? And I go through and I do this exercise where, I go through the room, and I've had some incredible experiences. And Napoleon Hill talks about this in his book, and I've applied this, and it is magic. It is game changing, and it has been for over a decade. I didn't even start applying this until 5 years into after starting to read this. All right, so the tab, I have a strong relationship with Heavenly Father, with Jesus Christ. And this is what it means to me. My relationship with my wife, Sherry, this is what it means to me. Like when I claim over here that a fulfilled life means to me that I have a strong relationship with Sherry and my kids, like, what does that even mean? What does it mean to have a strong, to me, not to anybody else, but to me, to have this strong relationship with Sherry, Miley, McKay, and Emery. And this is what it means to me. This is what it means to have a strong relationship with Sherry. That, I'm not going to go through all this, but like, I really I strive. And it's been said that striving can be more important than arriving. Because if you're striving day to day with the wisest use of your time and energies to reach a realistic goal, you're a success. So I'm not trying to say that I'm even good at this, but this is something I'm striving for. Striving to really listen and understand. I've developed a deeper love and respect for her. And so you can, but just to give you a couple ideas here. One of my buckets is that my family, right? So over here, my daily actions focus on my family's well-being, success, and future. Well, what does that even mean? Like, who cares about that? What is that? And to me, this is some of what it means. We pray together. I believe that families that pray together stay together. So, we attend church meetings and different things together. We're home, we're present. When I'm home, I'm present. Set the example of physical exercise. These are important things to me. Some of these may not be important to you, and that's not what this is about. This is not me trying to sell you on what you should believe. 0. It's about just giving you a window into what has been absolutely magic for me in my life, is to create an intentional life in advance and then work towards moving towards it. I've recorded books that I've studied, like paperback books, and then compile. And so I have recorded these over the years, and hundreds of books that I've read and gone through. I have my top 10 list that is current to this minute, to this day. Of the top 10 most influential books I've ever read. And Think and Grow Rich, right here, this book right here. The truth is, I actually keep it on my nightstand next to my scriptures. One of my 10 buckets is I have a healthy body. I feel like an Olympic champion. Now, no, that's not me. I wish it was. I'm striving for that, but I want to be healthy. I want to feel juiced in life. And there's 4 buckets that I need in order to be juiced and feel my very best. And that's what having a healthy body means to me. I'm well educated. Financial freedom. There's financial freedom and then financial abundance, which are 2 things. There's financial freedom and there's financial abundance. And I live with passion. I love this quote from Hardy D. Jackson: above all, be true to yourself. And if you cannot put your heart into it, take yourself out of it. Power of directed thought. Now, this is one of the most powerful secrets. And this is, again, stems from the seed from this book, Think and Grow Rich, about how thoughts actually become things. And I found myself when I was doing door-to-door sales, the world told me I could not do it. Everything gathered around me to tell me, you can't do it. And I learned this secret that I could plant intentional thoughts into my brain rather than letting my brain just be receptive to the messages of the world. I could be intentional. And so this is, I memorized all this stuff. And over the years, I didn't do this all at one time. Over the years, I did flashcards. In fact, let me show you. I have tons of flashcards that I've developed over the years where these are my favorite ones right here. Like, let's see here. Thoughts are things. What do you know? Boom. Like, and I would take these and I memorize and I put them in my brain. And I have over the years just this is, I know it's nuts, and I'm not even suggesting that you go to this length, but I do suggest you take one note card and put one thought and you put it in your brain. And to me, this is, I call it the success strings, because if you want to create success, it's one string with another leading to another, one string of thought that's put into action, stringing you towards, binding you towards the life of your dreams. And so my success strings and gratitude. These are the top 25 things I'm grateful for. I love this thought. This is something that just inspires me. Nobody knows what a boy is worth. You'll have to wait and see. But every man in a noble place, a boy once used to be. And so I just love that. I just had some pictures of my life to help ground me, to help me remember, where I came from, who I am, and where I'm at now. And so there's a picture of me with my rollerblades. Those changed my life. Then I have goals from each year. So 2019, and then I rate them, I grade them. And I have a whole system I can show you sometime. If you want to, let me know in the comments. Let me know, hey, I want to know more about your system for grading and rating your goals. 2018, objective 17, 16. Each year I'll do this and I grade them. 15, 14, over the years, 13. Each year I'll go through and I'll set my goals and I'll focus, because I look at this every day. I'll keeps me grounded and intentional on my goals. 2011, 10, this is with my company Elevate, 2010. Anyways, this is my vision map. And I know I just fire hosed you and I want to be very clear that my intention in sharing this with you is not that I think you need to go out and build this and or to put any sort of holy smokes, I am so where do I even start? And stop you before you even start. My hope is to plant a seed, just as Napoleon planted in me with this book. My intention is to plant in your mind the thought of just what one random person, Ben Ward, some guy, took that thought and created this. And for me, this has been everything. Through these strategies, I earned my first $1 million in sales commission by the time I was 26, while I was in college, and going out and working hard and attracting other people to me when I went out selling door to door, building teams and regions. And then from there, I started a company, and the principles in this book and what I just shared with you is me shaping an intentional life. And that took me to partner with one of my dream partners, and we built an incredible company. We had a lot of ups and downs. We took the company public, and we crashed to the ground a couple years later, and the ups and the downs. And that's this book is what's been able and allowed me to be able to get back on my feet after that epic loss and become even stronger and even better. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that my vision map that I just shared with you came as a result from the principles of Think and Grow Rich. I challenge you, if you've already read this book, read it again. If you've read it 10 times, read it again, read it 11. If you haven't read it, awesome, read it. The vision map has come as a direct result from Think and Grow Rich. What can you create? What will you create? What do you commit to create right now? What do you commit to write out? Do you have written goals? What do you commit to deepen them? And I challenge you, for me, I'm on a continual pursuit. And my vision map that I showed you just now, that framework is being updated daily, weekly. And I know that you can accomplish anything that you can think, what we can believe and conceive, we can achieve. And I know that that's true. And it's true for you as well as it has been true for me in my life. Well, it's an absolute honor to share with you that piece of my life, and my sincerest hope is that you find value for you. Do not get lost in the overwhelming complexity. This is 15 years in the making since I decided and committed I'm gonna have my definite chief aim. I'm gonna get very clear on an intentional life. And those secrets is what led me, like I said in the beginning, to extraordinary results in my life. I'm a normal person. You saw my white skinny legs. I'm just a normal person that has applied the principles from this book into my life and have tried to surround my thoughts and brain with things and words that would serve me and those around me. And I offer that gift. Hopefully you find value in that for you. Even if it starts with writing down one specific objective, one goal that you have for your life, your dominant chief aim. What is it that you want to accomplish? And start there with one sentence, one line, and then work on building from there to create your own vision map. And if you want to have a resource, it's not done yet. I'm working on a resource to help others create their own vision map with a template that is simple and duplicatable that you can use to apply in your life, to apply Napoleon Hill's words and trainings from Think and Grow Rich. That every failure that we experience, every misfortune can bring with it a tiny seed that if planted and nurtured and on how to rise up from that failure, just like a seed has to, in order for a seed when it's planted, it has to explode, it has to blow up in order for it to take root. And so our failures provide a seed of opportunity. And how are we going to cultivate that seed is the question. And every failure Napoleon talks about brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. And I know that's true. And I know that's true for you. The misfortunes, the things that are messed up, the failures that you've experienced and that you're experiencing, those things can be the greatest propellers to future success if you let it. And the principles in this book teach how to do that. And Napoleon came as a journalist to write a report for Andrew Carnegie. And from that, Andrew challenged him. He liked him. After 3 days being with him and getting ready for this report, Andrew really liked him. He said, the world is in need of a new philosophy that passes down from one generation to the next. The sum total of all of the learnings, the teaching, the knowledge gained at such a tremendous price from people who have succeeded. And it's one of the sins of the ages, he said. Andrew Carnegie to Napoleon Hill. It's one of the sins of the ages that this knowledge gained at such a tremendous price is buried with the bones of the people that die with these experiences. He said, it is not right, and I want to fix that. I want to champion you. And so Napoleon committed right there that he would go. And there's way more to the story we'll talk about how it happened. He did it within 60 seconds, and he made decisive action. Andrew wasn't going to pay him. He was like with the wealthiest person in the world and charged him to this job, and he wasn't going to get paid for it. There's all sorts of rad pieces to this story. But as a result, we have this incredible book. I want to invite you to pick up this book, read it, apply the principles. One, the principles that you hear directly, that you read directly, but two, and possibly way more valuable than what you just read from the pages, you're gonna have bursts of thought, very specific to you, that may not have anything to do with what's being read, but bursts of thought, impressions that come to you because only you know the situation that you're in right now. And I want to challenge you to record those, write those down, and take action on the things that come to your mind that will lead you towards the lifestyle, towards becoming the person that you are destined to become. Listen, when I woke up this morning, I have a super busy day today, and I knew that no matter what, I needed to share with you the principles from Think and Grow Rich. I know that whatever we can believe and conceive, we can achieve. And I want to invite you to pick up this book. If you've already read it, read it again. If you've read it, he challenges us, Napoleon challenges us to read it 6 times over and over. If you've read it 6 times already, read it again. And as you do, the thoughts that come to your mind that serve you, and as you take action on them, they can become reality for you. I know that that's true. And it's been an extreme, humbling honor to share just a few thoughts with me, the seeds that have been planted in my brain from the words here. And I'm so thankful for Esther Moorcroft. She's the one who gave me this book and said it's going to give you guidance. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I shelved it. And I'm so thankful for my dad and Virginia loading me up with these books, giving me a desire to want to learn. And I challenge you to be a learn-it-all. I know you know a lot. Continue on the quest of learning. And in fact, Brian Tracy, when I met with him over a decade ago, we had dinner and we became close in that dinner. I asked him, Brian, if I was your son, what one thing would you share with me that would lead me to success? If you knew I was committed to success, and if I applied this one thing, I'm sure that's what every incredible author wants to know. There's so many things. But he looked me in the eye and he said, there's 2. He's like, Ben, there's 2. He's like, first, he said, don't quit. If you don't quit and you keep going, you're going to arrive. But second, while you're not quitting, continuously learn. And he said, if you'll continuously learn, you'll continuously grow throughout your life. I want to challenge you. What are the dominating thoughts in your mind? And I challenge you to get clear on what your ideal life will look like. And as you plant that into your brain and pull out the weeds, pluck the FUD, so to speak, we talk about sometimes, for those of you that follow the channel. You gotta pluck the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, pull it out of your brain and then plant intentional thought. And nothing better to plant in your brain than the principles from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And now for a quick bonus. I want to share with you my top 10 most impactful books out of hundreds that I've read and vetted. I showed you on my spreadsheet, the books that I've read and gone through. This top 10 list is one that I recommend to you. And don't feel like you need to read them all right now, but put them on the back of your mind and which one might speak to you. These are game-changing books that I've found extreme value in. There's like good books and then there's game-changing books. And so this is what I share with you, these 10 right here. And I'll put them in the description below as well, so that you can have access to them. So in this video, we've talked about a lot of success principles, and I've developed what I call the SMART Map coaching tool. And it's the MAP, it's an acronym, and it's not the SMART goals you might be thinking about. It's the SMART MAP, massive action plan to help you coach the people that you lead to help them achieve their goals. And so download this guide. It's there for you. It's one that I personally have applied myself, that I've used personally and taught thousands of people. How to go from having what we think we want to crystallizing and taking massive action around our goals and achieving them. And so download the guide right here in the description below. Make it an incredible day.